In a certain city, a taxi ride costs a flat rate of $2.50 plus an additional $1.25 per mile traveled. How far did Elena ride if she took a taxi and was charged a total of $33.75? We have to start with our let statement. And remember, we're always going to use a let statement to represent the quantity that they're asking us to find. In this problem, they ask, how far did Elena ride? And so that's going to be x. We're going to let the distance of Elena's ride be x. And we have to set up an equation that models the situation. Now we know the total cost of her taxi ride was $33.75. So if we can write an expression that shows how that was calculated, that total is going to have to be equal to $33.75. So let's look at how she's charged for this ride. A taxi costs a flat rate of $2.50 plus an additional amount per mile. So we know that when she steps in, she's immediately charged an initial rate of $2.50, but then plus an additional amount per mile. Now we know that it's $1.25 per mile. If she had only traveled 1 mile, this would be an additional $1.25. But she probably traveled much further than that. At least it looks like it by these numbers. So to figure out the portion that she paid when she was charged $1.25 per mile, we have to multiply 125 by x, because $1.25 is the rate per mile. And since we're looking per mile, we have to multiply by the number of miles, which is x, because that's the distance of Elena's ride. Now we have an equation we need to solve for x. We can start by subtracting 2.50 from both sides. When we do that, we're left with 1.25x on the left, and $33.75 minus $2.50 is $31.25. Don't forget the decimal. Now to get x alone, we have to divide both sides by 1.25. And when we do that, that gives us x equals 31.25 divided by 125 is 25, in this case, miles. X equals 25, but we know this was the distance she traveled, and this is measured in miles because it was per mile. So we know that x is going to be 25 miles, and they asked how far did Elena ride? We can say Elena rode 25 miles. And that ends up being our final answer.